Charlie, and I want to welcome everyone today. I'm actually very excited and very grateful that all of you have made a decision to be here today. My name is Deborah. My name is DeBoRaH Burris, and I know some people are calling me Deborah, but my name is DeBoRaH Burris, and I own the company Lucaya Capital. And yes, I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia. I've been in business specifically in real estate investing and commercial financing for the last 18 years, starting here in Atlanta. Lucaya Capital was put together with a very specific niche need, pain points that I started seeing in the industry for clients who didn't know where they needed to get in from a financing strategy. So I started carving out the kind of profile of financing programs to meet our clients where they are. The spectrum is so wide when people are looking to get into building their portfolios or creating a retirement cash flow portfolio, or even just starting with residential to build that portfolio for income prior to retirement, after retirement, whatever it takes. The most important thing is to be able to find the product that meets you where you are when it comes to the financing cycle. Kendra, pull up the website just briefly, please.
Yeah, one second, let me just share the screen again.
Okay. I met Charlie. Charlie, I believe it's been over 10 years now. I think your daughter was probably in her early 20s, maybe, give or take. But I know I've met Charlie at least about 10 years ago. And I was really focusing in on commercial, and Charlie, of course, had much, much more experience than I did. And then over the last couple of years, we've reconnected to be able to cast a wider net to service our community and other communities when it comes to building wealth with real estate.
Okay.
Were you able to?
I am. Just give me 1 second. It's just taking a second. Yeah.
I just wanted to,
I'll just share it.
Okay.
And I'm going to share it in the chat box here too, just in case.
Okay.
And I'm going to share my screen too.
Thank you, Kendra.
Yes.
Right.
Do you see that?
So Lucaya Capital is one of the philosophies that I believe in, and some of it starts with the 7 Ps. But before I talk about that, we want to look at financing more possibilities that meet you as a potential client, to meet you where you are. I think that's so critical, because I know I meet with clients, I sit down, I consult, and they just don't know where to start. They're intimidated, they're not sure, they got the cart before the horse. We want to be able to stabilize that for clients like you now and in the future. So when it comes to commercial real estate financing, construction, when it comes to residential investors who want to build a portfolio, when it comes to the small business owner, I don't care really for the most part what type of business that is, but when it comes to small business financing, there's a plethora of options out there that our government is very aggressive in getting out in the marketplace.
Okay.
One of the philosophies that I believe in, and I call it the 7 Ps, and that is prior proper planning, preventing piss poor performance. Like Charlie said, and as we go further into the presentation, we can't start the rabbit hole and not have a sense of the exit strategy. And for us, our exit strategy is to get you financing. But we want to have that project outlined ahead of time. We're not looking to be guessing, we're looking for completion. That term sheet is one, and then to have the final funding taken care of. But Lucaya Capital and Hilton Advisories is here as a community. We're here just as an advisory service. If you're not sure where you want to start, make plans to chat with us. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce Kendra, and I'll let her speak for a few moments. But Kendra is a company that I hired as my right arm marketing and everything virtual. And they are headquartered in Pakistan, but she also has an office in Charlotte. Kendra, please take the floor for just a few moments.
Hi guys, so this is Kendra. We have been in marketing for about 4 years. We recently started out this virtual assistance thing where you get to hire the person without like all of the insurance and everything else. So this is how we're helping DeBoRaH, and yeah, I'll be with you on the meeting. And if you have any questions related to digital marketing or anything, I'd be happy to help.
They actually designed my website. You could go
Awesome.
back to the website. Just 1 second, Kendra.
Go ahead.
You can go to the About Us.
That's my internet, not the website. So my internet is a bit just, I don't know, today.
You just kind of look at
Yes.
some of the processes and the workflows that we've created. You can see the team. I think we have the team on this page.
Yeah, we have the testimonials, the team, and you know, just to get started, vision, mission. Let me just, yeah, if this is better. Message from CEO.
Okay.
And let's go to meet the team just real quick so they could.
Should be on home, right?
Home.
Yeah, let me just. 1 second, let me just share again.
While she's doing that, just as a reminder, we still look at the 5 C's of credit. And that will never go away in lending. We have character as being one, capacity being the second one, character being that character is viewed in the eyes from a lender through the credit scores that you get through Equifax and bureau agencies. You take a look at capacity. Do you have enough capacity in terms of being able to repay the loan back? That's really important. Also, capital. A lot of real estate related loan products require a good amount of equity, anywhere from, could be anywhere from 10 to 30%, depending on what you're doing. We also take a look at the collateral. What is it that you're giving to the bank? They can't make demands in terms of what you offer, but depending on what the product is, they would require collateral, as well as what the conditions. And we'll talk about that a little later. Conditions right now, folks, we're heading into a recession, whether you want to believe it or not. And that's really, really important. We'll talk a little more about that a little later. Kendra, you were.
Yes. Do you need me?
Okay. No, you're good. You're good. Right now, as you all know, the Federal Reserve Bank just increased its short-term rate. The Fed funds rate that banks receive overnight funds from the Fed is right at 1.75%. The Wall Street Journal prime rate is now 4.75%. That's a huge jump. We anticipate 2 or 3 other interest rate increases between now and year end. That can have a really, really dramatic impact on the cost of capital that you borrow. It's really, really important. And having a deep understanding of the economy as a banker, you want to make sure that your banker is well in tune in terms of what's going on in the economic environment. As a banker, I have been through at least 4 economic downturns. That is significant in knowing what you can do and what is possible out in the marketplace. We're going to talk about property types. There are so many different property types. If you own a business where you're looking for money to be secured by accounts receivables,
inventory,
we can walk through that with you. Commercial real estate, construction lending, we're going to go through all of that. We're going to talk about the various financing options that you might have available to you. Interest rates, and we're also going to talk about your readiness in terms of obtaining financing. But more importantly, your experience in your particular field of industry. That's really, really meaningful. We're a client-focused organization. Is to get you funded in whatever transaction you're looking to obtain. What we do, our initial review is to review the financial information you provided to us, so that we have a baseline understanding of what your goals are, and make sure your goals are consistent to what we've identified. What is the true nature of your request? Oftentimes, some borrowers don't know exactly what their needs are. It's our responsibility to make sure to walk them through that timeline and that effort to make sure they have a full understanding what the true needs are. We will also make a request, and we require very specific loan documentation that is needed for us to produce a term sheet for you within a timely manner. As we move along, we monitor the progress of the underwriting progress, what's going on, and we provide weekly updates to make sure that your transaction is executed and closed within an approximate time that we believe to be reasonable. It's really, really important. All right, Kendra, next slide. All right, as I stated previously, Hilton Business and Lucaya Capital are affiliated companies. And our goal is to identify and service the financial needs of your business, whether small, mid-sized, or large. We also are we're fast forward, and we've gotten a lot more in terms of advisory services. That's a big piece of what we do as well, advising clients in terms of sitting down with them and identifying opportunities of what the true needs are today, next year, and 5 years down the road. That's what we do. We help put together the packages. We originate these loans, and we also help secure the debt and sometimes equity financing for what you need to do, largely with real estate developers, builders, healthcare professionals, those individuals that work within the IT environment, transportation, car dealers, and nonprofits. Primarily, we do a lot of real estate, and we're very good at it, what we do. I never, ever engage and work with clients who have real estate without seeing the property first. It's really, really important that we have that connection in terms of having a basic understanding of what we do as a team and how we approach our business. All right, Kendra. Next slide, Kendra. We are heavily involved in SBA lending. You go back to the previous slide, Kendra, that'd be great. We do, previous slide, please.
Yeah, 1 second.
Do quite a bit of SBA lending, 7A, 504. Oh, okay, no worries.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
I want to go back to the slide
Yeah.
number 3, I think, that
Yeah,
shows the
it's
different types of lending
4.
opportunities. SBA. Okay.
4.
No worries.
And just
Oh, good.
okay. Yeah,
Getting back to the types of loans that we originate and that we arrange between Hilton and Lucaya. SBA lending is a big piece of what we do. We do a lot of SBA 7A, 504, and also what I call the easy transactions, those that are 350 and under. Commercial lending, we are heavily involved in as well. I just closed 3 months ago on a line of credit for a manufacturing firm outside of Dallas. So it was a $4 million line. And they also had term debt that the line of credit was secured by accounts receivable, inventory, and equipment. And while the real estate was secured by, there was a real estate loan, which is a term loan, that was secured by the real estate. It was an owner-occupied facility. They operated about a 25,000 square foot facility. And that loan amount was right around 4.7 million on that one. And so we got two transactions out of that one with that one client. And we also work with them on their treasury as well as their merchant as well. So it was a great opportunity for us. So those are some of the transactions that we're involved with. Try and use the 7A SBA route for them because one, you're able to roll up working capital, other items in there. Commercial real estate loans is we're really, really heavily in. That could be anywhere from storage facilities, industrial, not doing much retail because of the advent of Walmart and not Walmart, but Amazon. You're seeing a lot of big boxes that are in many cities are being closed down and being used for other facilities because of the effects of Amazon. But we do see a lot of we do car dealerships lending where they have floor plans, the land itself. We do raw land, particularly if it's entitled land. We do, whether we're speaking of apartments, retail, mixed use items. We have done it all. Subdivisions with construction land.
Charlie, if I can interject.
Please.
I'd like to take a little bit of a deeper dive with the SBA loan because many people don't understand the magnitude. The program is quite significant based on the criteria that you would
Go ahead.
fit.
I'm gonna grab some water here for a second.
Okay, but ladies and gentlemen, one of the things about the SBA loan, and we'll talk more about commercial loans also, but in the SBA world, our government does want us to be in business. So in the SBA world, we're talking about 10% down. Yes, the 5 C's are always applicable, but we're talking about 10% down. But here's some of the additional magic. In the SBA world, as long as the loan does not cap at over $5 million, the client is able to buy the real estate, encompass construction, encompass working capital, encompass FF&E, all in the totality of the loan. And many people don't know that. Many clients come to us and they want to buy a piece of commercial property. Great. 2, 3 months, 6 months, they call us up and they need working capital. They want to change out fixtures. They want to modify the heating and air conditioning. So if you are a small business owner and maybe you currently have your business in a place that you might want to buy, or you're looking for a new facility, piece of real estate to put your business in, or you're buying a business, or you're doing a buyout. whatever it calls for in the SBA world, we're here to let you know that you're able to add construction, working capital, and the working capital piece in the SBA world, you're able to get that money 24 to 48 hours after we close. That money goes into your checking account to use as your leverage, as your cushion, as you are building and expanding your business. But you also get another bucket called FF&E. In the FF&E, furniture, fixtures, and equipment, you can identify the vendors that you want to use, and the bank will go out and buy them for you. You will not get that money in your hands, but you have a budget for it. You don't have to spend it all at one time. You can spend it as you need it, as you are planning things out. And then your construction build out, you might be buying a commercial piece of real estate that you want to modify. Those contractors who are going to do the work for you, they must meet a very high standard of credibility that the bank will approve.
Very
They are
correct.
not interested, the bank is not interested in John and Tyrone and street corner contractors to do this work and walk away. Because we can facilitate those funds to come directly to you to pay those draws as you see fit. After the bank has identified that that work has been done successfully. So just a little bit of scope of SBA. It's very powerful. It's here. 5 million, you can have 3 loans, you can have 2 loans, but up to $5 million on the 7A.
That's correct. And that's based on the aggregate amount.
That's right. But the 504, it goes up, I think, over $10 million.
That is correct.
But it's a starting place when we think about owning real estate. You don't have to have your business in there at 100%. You could be 51% owner occupied and lease out the other side, whatever the particular real estate is.
That is correct. You must be at least 55 or greater. That is correct.
So just wanted to give them a scope of a little bit more in depth. We got highlights here, but we're not explaining enough. And certainly book a consultation call, whatever you might want to do, and we can go into a deeper dive with you individually.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Thank you so much, Ms. Burris. The last one here is the express loan. That's $350,000 or under. That can be done within a matter of within 1 full week. It's for whatever needs that you might have for your small business. Go ahead, Kendra. Next slide, please. This is we talked about the features of the some of the features of the 7A, up to $5 million, as Ms. Burris indicated. This could be up to 10 years for business acquisition, working capital, equipment financing. For real estate loans, obviously it's a 25-year term. The interest rate will always be variable, by the way. Yeah. The percentage of SBA guarantee is 85%. For loans under 150, and for loans that are greater than 150, it's 75%. Max guarantee is 3.75%. This is a basic staple product that the SBA has, and it's most popular, by the way. Under the 504 loan features, this program where the lead lender will have a first deed of trust on the property if it's real estate, and the certified development corp will have a second deed of trust. On the first deed of trust, the bank will have a 50% loan value on the financing package, and on the second one would have up to 40%, meaning that you'll have to put in 10% as the owner of the business, 10%. The first deed would have up to a 10-year maturity based on a 25-year amortization schedule. On the second deed of trust that is in the hands of the CDC, it'll be up to 25-year fully amortizing loan. which is really good. This is for the loan purpose. We for real estate, have equipment and or other fixed assets. This is a very good product here. On the SBA loan, as I stated previously, this is a very fast approval, a very simple process, up to $250,000. And the loan term it's up to 10 years. There will always be a variable rate involved. You must have at least 24 months of ownership and profitable operations. There should be no record of bankruptcy within the last 7 years, and your credit must be satisfactory. Once we can satisfactory credit, at least 620 credit score. Kendra? Okay, loan types. We've talked about some of on the commercial industrial loan types. I spoke of one that I did recently, secured by accounts receivables and equipment. We do those. We do loans that are secured by owner-occupied business owners. And one of the main focus that we look at when lending on a commercial basis is we take a look at the strength of the obligor. We take a look at sponsorship. You can hear the word sponsorship all the time, meaning that the people behind the deal. You're going to take a look at, we're going to take a look at the guarantors. That's really, really important. We're going to take a look at collectively, what's the strength of the guarantors? What is the collective liquidity? When I speak of liquidity, liquid assets, cash, savings accounts, investment accounts, things like that, something that can be easily converted to cash within a matter of days. Loan amounts is $500,000 or more. When I say more, it can be up to $100 million if need be. The terms are usually 1 to 5 years, and the rate could be either variable or fixed. But in this environment, you're going to find most lenders looking at a variable rate. They're kind of fetish in terms of trying to provide fixed rate options unless it's the federal government. Collateral will always be a first lien on the receivables, equipment, and inventory. And for real estate, it's going to be a first deed of trust with an assignment of rents and leases. Those are your standard key height levels for commercial deals. For construction deals, we speak of construction lending, we speak of interim construction loans. An interim construction loan is a loan that is given to the obligor to do the construction of the facility or property or whatever. Once it's fully completed and received the CO, it can then go towards permanent financing. Loans like this can be used to finance detached single-family residences or communities. It can be used to fund townhouse projects. It can be used to fund multifamily or apartments. We do these to also fund mixed-use projects where you have retail at the bottom and housing at the top. These also can be used to fund and finance mini storage facilities. Mini storage facilities are very popular in suburban and urban areas. They can't seem to get enough because of the migration of people from state to state. Seem like one is going up every week here in Dallas. Senior housing financing is really big in the Sun Belt and Southeast, as well as the Mid-Atlantic. I'm sure you guys have heard the term Del Webb communities. Yeah. Those are 55 plus active communities. That's a thriving market. And I'm seeing more of those. I got 2 requests on my plate right now we're going to tackle and work with. Finance and funding student housing. I gotten one from a HBCU here in Texas to work on. Student housing is very big. All right. Again, with Don't see very many of these, but I've done only one daycare facility financing, and I did that with a bond financing. It went very smooth from start to finish. It was all of 120 days. If you have any daycare facilities, you know of anyone who has one and would like to expand, we'd like to talk with them, including charter schools, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, the primary focus with interim construction lending would be the strength of the builder and general contractor. I think Ms. Burris spoke of that. You can't have John Doe just around the corner going to construct your project. It has to be approved by the bank. They got to have the experience. They got to have the license that's appropriate for your estate in order to engage in this type of construction. If you find somebody who you think has it, and if the lender believes that the experience is insufficient, you need to find someone for him or her to buddy up with. That's really, really important. The sponsorship must be sufficient to, they must have had the experience in doing what you're asking for them to do. There's no way the bank will lend money to a group of individuals who have no experience in what they're wanting to do. If you don't have the experience, I encourage you to buddy up with a experienced sponsorship who have the wherewithal that the bank can work with in terms of being able to have the confidence in terms of wanting to lend money to this group. Equity requirements. It takes a lot of cash to get involved in construction lending. Let's not sugarcoat it. It takes a lot of cash. You got to be, one individual may not do it. You might have create a group of individuals in the form of a syndication to make it happen. And that's one of the downfalls that we and folks in my community have in terms of being able to come up with the equity requirement that is needed to make this happen. Other communities usually have 6 to 8 people. If they don't have what it needs to take to develop a community, they pool their resources together. That's what you got to think about. Pool the resources together to get the equity that is needed to make it happen. It requires a lot of equity in some of these deals. I don't want you to leave this meeting thinking that it only requires just a little bit, but it requires a lot. The amount that we do, starting at 1.5 up to 100 million. I just closed a 318 acre site of land zoned commercially. It was a $26 million deal where they had to come up with $13 million. That was 50% loan to value. And there were 8 of them involved in terms of raising that equity to make it happen. They have the experience, but the land is entitled, it's zoned commercial, but it's entitled for a multifamily, as well as for a portion is entitled for multifamily, and the other portion is zoned for retail. Most interim loans are usually recourse and non-recourse. When I say recourse and non-recourse, recourse is with a guarantee attached to the loan. Non-recourse, meaning that it requires no guarantee. Oftentimes, loans like this will never be on a fixed rate basis for construction loans, always variable. Repayment is usually permanent loans, will always. The collateral will be first deed of trust on the property along with assignment of rents. We have a proprietary construction database that we put all of our builders through, and they know exactly what the cost will be. They know exactly what their profitability would be per project, per item. We'll walk you through that for those who are in the building area, and we'd love to be your client one day. Okay, commercial real estate loans. We do a lot of these. Acquisition loans on existing apartments, usually anywhere from loan to value, usually around 75% on these. We can get them as close as 80% on some of them. But generally around 75% is usually the sweet spot, but we can do 80%. Loans to finance pools of homes. We can get this right at 80% loan to value. Depending on the strength of the liquidity, we can probably get up to 85%. Okay.
Charlie,
loans to finance. Go ahead. I'll let you speak on that, Mr. Burris.
Yeah, this is a large scope and a huge demand when it comes to commercial real estate financing. Many clients out there they have large or medium-sized portfolios of residential properties, and now they want to step up to commercial financing. So in this space, I want you to know for sure there is a product out there for you. I don't care if you have no experience. May it be that the deal needs to take the lead. If you don't have financial documents such as tax returns, we have alternative documentation to facilitate the strength of who you are financially. That the deal should be able to DSR, debt service coverage ratio, on its own. But unlike most traditional banks, many of our products are with hedge funds and equity and private banks or private non-bank banks. So they make up their own matrix to facilitate helping the marketplace fit their matrix. So in the commercial real estate space, I'm going to start with $500,000. With $500,000, 10 million, I'm taking that as just a general sweet spot. No documentation, light documentation, no tax returns, using bank statements, using the strength of the income that's coming in from the property. Because when we talk about commercial real estate, this is not a construction project. This is something you are buying. Perhaps you're buying the cash flow, or you're going to turn it over to have it be a performing asset. Here is a large scope of financing possibilities. Credit score is not as important. It can be because of rate, but it doesn't have to be, because the strength of the income that's going to come in from the project is another way to just get started in commercial real estate. And again, the property types are wide and varied. Funeral homes, daycare centers. I have been doing quite a few daycare centers buyouts and acquisitions and takeovers. So daycare centers, funeral homes, even funeral homes with cremation, auto repair, dealerships. So it's a wide gambit when it comes to commercial real estate, and the financing products are wide and varied. Again, meeting you where you are.
Awesome. We also have, we finance mobile home parks. We've done that as part of the commercial real estate, within the commercial real estate portfolio arena, as well as some car dealerships. We've done that, but on a very limited basis. Moving into the commercial documentation requirements. Now, we can't get all of these wonderful things done without having documentation, obviously. And it's a really key part of what we do in terms of gathering information, putting the information together, and analyzing what we have before us before we send it to the lender. The lender needs to know who you are. Got to get a copy of your driver's license. We need to know also get the full name, the full legal name of the borrowing entity and its physical address. That's important. Depending on whether or not you're a C Corp would need to have a list of the officers and directors and their percentage ownership. when I speak of C Corp, I'm asking for 1120 tax returns. For an S Corp, I'm looking for 1120S tax returns. If I'm asking for a partnership tax return, I'm looking for 1165 tax returns. If I'm asking for a nonprofit tax returns, I'm looking for 990. And for individuals, I'm looking for 1040s. That's really, really important. Tax returns, you got to have it. If you don't have the tax returns, if you did not file your taxes, we can work with you and find someone to work with you and get those taxes completed. But sophisticated borrowers got to have the tax returns in order. No bank in America will deal with you without that. Well, some will, depending on what you're seeking. Got to have bios on you, particularly when you're speaking about development. For companies that are non-real estate, you got to have profit and loss statements and balance sheets they got to provide for us for at least 3 years, as well as interim statements. Usually the first few months out of the year, got to have those. And some of you individuals on the line have multiple companies or affiliated companies. If you own at least 20% of a business, we got to have those tax returns. It's really, really important because what we have to do, we have to basically pull everything together and do a global cash flow analysis. That's a term that bank uses all the time, a global cash flow analysis. And last but not least, we need to have your personal financial statement. And on the borrowing entity as well of individuals behind the companies, as well as all guarantors. And we usually, if you don't have that format, we'll send you a blank personal financial statement form to complete and send back to us. That's really, really key. Kendra, next slide. We will also send you a blank copy of a debt schedule to be completed. We can walk you through that once we meet with you individually and tell you what's all this. What it essentially says is what's the amount of the debt, when did it originate, what's the interest rate, when does it mature, and what is the monthly payment. That's what it says. And we also need an org chart of the borrowing entity. They need to know whether or not also the authority documents relating to your organization, articles of organization, operating agreement, certificate of existence. That's for LLCs. For a corporation, you need the article of incorporation, certificate of existence, and bylaws. For commercial real estate deals, there are certain requirements that we need, but bare bone minimum, a lender will need to have a environmental study ESA phase 1, a survey. They got to know the legal description of where the real estate is located, and an appraisal. And the bank will also engage an appraisal firm to perform an appraisal prior to the closing of the loan. No loan in America, no real estate loan in America is granted without having an appraisal tied to it. For commercial deals, construction deals, you got to have the proper permits from the local authorities. If you don't have those, you can't build. That's why it's so important to make sure that we have those political connections where we're building intact. Speaking of understanding in terms of construction loans, make sure that you have a detailed budget outlining what the hard cost is and the soft costs on all phases that you're doing. I've advised all of my clients to go back, take a second look at each of their budgets due to the rising, escalating cost of raw materials here in America, as well as due to the disruptions in the supply chain that is currently going on. Not to mention the increasing cost of labor. Many of my projects, we've had to increase by at least 10%, 10 to 15% of those that were in line to be funded within the last 8 months. That's a steep increase. So be mindful of that. Have your engineers and architectural firms to go back and review your budgets. Make sure that the cost is in line with where we are today. You need to have a copy of the site plan and survey and plat, a copy of the architectural renderings, breakdown of each unit, if it's an apartment or detached single family home. If you're buying real estate, get a copy of the PSA, purchase sales agreement. Make sure that you have a copy and negotiate your construction contract with your general contractor. Make sure that that your cost is either fixed or cost plus. I would encourage you to try and secure a fixed contract pricing structure. Given where we're at in the state of in this economy, everything is pretty much inflated and things are expected to go up even more this year. I need a copy of your architectural plans and engineering plans, a copy of all the permits for those entering to the construction of their financing. For acquisitions, you're going to need the purchase and sale agreement of the apartment complex, whatever you're buying. That's really, really important. And that's the most important thing I'll need for acquisitions primarily. For churches, don't do many of those, but you'll need to provide a resume of the senior pastor, something about the church's history, the giving units and things of that nature. Many churches, they operate very differently compared to 5 years ago. Many churches now have multiple services. As long as someone can get online and review the previous week's service, there's still an opportunity for them to give. So there's so many ways that churches obtain giving units, givers and giving units these days, unlike 5-10 years ago. So it's a very dynamic way of them looking at churches very differently. If here in Dallas,
like Charlie, just in general, banks don't want to foreclose on churches.
No.
They just don't want to do.
Nope, not at all. Unlike years ago, I may have missed TD Jake's sermon 4 weeks ago, but I can go back and look at his sermon 4 weeks ago and still give. And that's what's happening in America today. And so the giving status is very different than what it was, 4 years ago or 5 years ago. With people have the ability to give it at a drop of a dime's hat. But that's the beauty of the religious population today. And you'd be surprised at the cash flows that churches have these days. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
All right, Kendra, next slide, please. Okay, this here is my contact information and how you can reach me. Now, my website is still under construction, and I had one up previously, but I took it down. I'm going to, it's being redone. And the next slide contains Ms. Burris's slide, contact information. And you can contact either of us since we work together. And I guess at this stage here will be the Q&A session that any of you might have. It's right at 12 o'clock. 12 my time, 1 your time for those on the East Coast. And we want to devote some time for Q&As. And I know we went through this fairly rapidly, but we want to be able to take the time to address any questions that you might have, as well as being able to capture information on each of you, because most of you, the majority of you, I'm sure we'll have one-on-one sessions with. And so I think this would be a good time to, there's Ms. Burris's contact information. And we're going to send you a copy of this. We're going to send you a copy of.
I'm sorry, Charlie, I apologize. Kendra, are you there?
Yeah, I am here. All good. My Zoom decided to freeze. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Okay. Go ahead, Charlie. What we're going to do now.
Go ahead. I'll let you take it over from here.
Yeah. What we're going to do now is we're going to go into a Q&A. Well, first, we're going to show a quick video and just maybe a 2-minute break. We'll come right back and we'll start a Q&A.
Okay, I'm going to play the video in just 1 second. Do we have everybody, or did you guys like just check it out?
Just go ahead and play the video.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm going to start with this and we're start 1 second.
There's no sound.
Let me try that 1 second. Were you able to see that?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. Wow, I think this is great. And we want to open up the floor. We want to hear from you. We did create a questionnaire. Does everyone have that link? Kendra, can you put it in the chat?
Yes, I am just going to do that. I think Julius want to say something.
Hello to you, Julius.
Hello, how are you doing? Can you guys hear us okay?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're I wanted to how are you doing? It's definitely good to see both of you. My question is that with a individual business or group, are they able to go after more than one financing vehicle through SBA at a time, or is it they only can be in the cycle for one at one given time?
Just want to make sure I understood your question. In the SBA, the $5 million SBA 7A, you can have up to $5 million. So that could be 3 loans, 2 loans.
Okay.
Just want to be clear on what you're asking, but the answer is you can have multiple loans and with different lenders, yes.
Okay, and that was based on if I was, let's just say I was going after a commercial property that I needed $1 million for, and then let's just say I was opening 3 REITs that I needed another $1 million for, right? I just wanted to see if that was possible, if there was 2 different types of businesses under the same loan.
No problem. No problem. You can diversify your loan products or business types.
Okay.
Okay, that was my question, DeBoRaH. How are you? It's Genevieve.
Hello to you, Genevieve.
Good to see you. So that was I'm very interested in the mixed use and the storage facilities and stuff like that. So it doesn't have to be the same type of commercial property. It can be diverse commercial properties.
It could be franchises like we had already talked about. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. And then I think one other thing is, so you're saying up to 5 million. Is that with just the purchase of the land, or is that the purchase of the land and the construction?
That is inclusive. Yes.
Okay. So if anything is over the 5 million with purchase of land and construction, we'd have to further get further investors.
No, we facilitate a combination with SBA and the CD. What is it? The CDC, Community
CDC.
Development Authority. Yeah. Where there's a gap over the 5 million, we bring in the outside lenders that are called partnership with SBA, so that there's no gap there.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we'll talk to you soon.
Sorry.
Antonio?
Yes, for that same 7A product, we already purchased our location, but we purchased it cash. Would we be able to still use that product to fund our construction? And, you know, we purchased it because it was a great deal available, so we purchased it outright at the time, but now we're looking at financing options for the construction, and it seemed like a very interesting path that we could
Will
go.
it be owner occupied, Antonio?
Yes, just for 50% of the for 50% of the building we're going to occupy.
Yes, you can do
The
that.
answer is yes, because and then the land becomes your collateral.
That's correct.
Perfect. All right.
Annie has a question in the chat box.
Annie?
It's in the chat box if you want to read it.
Okay. Let's see here.
Somebody's talking about owning a active 55 plus community.
Yes, that's the one.
But what is the question?
So it says, are you able to get one's finances?
Well,
Yeah, you can own a 55 plus facility. We can work
I can
with
say that. So
Okay.
thank you so much. I really appreciate this information. Any education is very useful and helpful. So my thought is a lot of us, we're doing well, but you know how you think, oh, I can never get there. And part of it might just be record keeping and how to really, you know, position yourself to be able to walk in there and get the deals. I truly believe that I personally have done more and bigger than most of the, I'm sorry to use that word, white counterpart, but have not been able to have access to any huge financial to make me be where I should be. So my question is, because some of us, you come to see we have business, we struggle, and all of it has been from our hard-earned money that we put in there with no outside financial support. You might not at this moment look okay with the financing to get to where you want to. Are you able to look at it and then provide some kind of structural guidelines to say, okay, look, in the next 6 months, this is what I needed to do, or in the next 1 year, this is what I wanted to do to be able to get you to where you want to be? That's my question. Thank you.
The answer is yes, and Charlie, I'll let you chime in, but the answer is yes, Annie. This is where that advisory piece is so important. We want you to have a roadmap. We don't want you to be stuck. We can offer our resources and our network of information for capital needs that you might need to start a project, because you know the strength of having very, very good credit. We have products to help you with just your capital infusion to start building your real estate portfolio. So the answer is yes, and we invite you to book a call or a consultation with us to create a roadmap with and for you.
Pat asked something to DeBoRaH. If you need, it's in the chat. Pat, are you
I
there?
had another question, if I could chime. All right.
Go ahead, Antonio.
Perfect. My next question would be for construction loans for new construction development. we're looking at some developments of like a certain size. What would be the equity requirement so that we know what size projects to look at that we would have to bring to the table, and or do you guys help with the equity portion of a new construction project? Let's say like a single family townhome development. You know, we're looking at 10 to 15 now. Like how big could we look at? Is there a different equity requirement for that as opposed to a traditional commercial loan, so that we can start to forecast what size projects we could look at?
Well, I was saying, Antonio, that whether you're doing 10 units or 100 units, you're going to about at least 25% equity in the, and the answer is yes on that. But what we my clients to do is comes to getting equity 35.
Charlie,
I think it's his internet. Yeah.
internet.
Charlie, you're on mute, and you're going to have to repeat what you said because we could not understand.
Oh, okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's much better.
Okay, good. Antonio, it's going to require about 25% equity, whether you're looking at 10 units or 100 units. Okay, we can help you with some of the equity requirements if you need that. But what we encourage you now, all good equity is not good equity. If I go out and try and find equity, mezz loan or mezz deck, it's going to be very expensive for you. Okay, if you have the ability to bring some people together to create that syndication of capital equity that is needed, that might be your better way. And I've had to do this on at least 2 or 3 deals that we're doing now. But yes, I can work with you from A to Z in terms of putting your deal together, showing you exactly how much money you'll make, what would be the true cost on a per unit basis, on a per square footage basis to make it happen. But yes, be mindful now that we are moving in a different environment in terms of economic environment, in terms of where interest rates are headed. And so the cost of your capital is going to be a lot different than it was a year ago. Okay. Looking forward, a year down the road, and also depending on how quickly do you need your funding to do what you need to do. That's another factor.
Pat, you have a question, and I want to make sure I'm clear on answering you. Can you hear me, Pat?
As a number of the people here have relationships with banks.
Pat, we lost you.
I got it. Okay.
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is it better? Okay, I was saying a number of people here probably have relationships with banks who do 7(a) loans and so forth. What would be one of the advantages you can point out, or more than one advantage of doing business with Lucaya and Hilton?
Charlie, I'm going to start, and I'd like for you to chime in. Pat, one of the things as we look at the community that we have joining us today, and I think Charlie will agree, we are more of a boutique financing house, brokerage house. From a consultative standpoint, we are going to create a roadmap for our clients. When most clients go directly to the bank, I'm not sure what kind of relationship they have, but we want to give them all the tools to minimize the booby traps before they start the process. So we pride ourselves that we nurture the relationship to guide our clients to the win. And the win victory is to close on their projects. First project, second project. It is a very strong and intimate relationship that we bring into the fold for our clients. We are not a bank. We just have lots of experience. We know what they want, and we package them in such a way to accomplish that goal. Most banks are not going to do that. They're going to send you an email and give you a list. And you don't know what needs to be on the debt schedule, the personal financial statements. We're going to guide you on every step of those documentations. Your package should look so clean before, like Charlie said, before we submit you to the bank. Charlie, please chime in.
Sure, absolutely. Pat, we're about execution. A lot of the people on this line, they've either been overlooked, underserved, or simply ignored. Let's be clear. A lender, a client needs to have a strong voice and a strong advocate to get things done for them on their behalf. I hadn't seen that in 38 years. You know, if the banks were actually doing their jobs, you wouldn't have consultants like us out here. Let me be clear, because you got a lot of private lenders out here. If banks were doing their jobs, we wouldn't have a lot of private lenders and people like us doing.
That's exactly.
Collectively, we have over 80 years of experience. And my goal, our goal as a team, is to put deals together and execute deals for closing. Nothing short of that. And we do it in a very gingerly way, very sensitive way, and a very compassionate way. When banks, when they work with clients, they even have the courtesy of telling clients why they're being declined. No? I've seen that time and time again.
Time and time again.
So it's really important for people to know and understand that we're here as their advocate. We'll put the deal together and we will give them some expectation in terms of timeline when the deal will get closed. I hope I answered your question. I hope we answered your question, Pat.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
Any other questions?
Let's see. Everybody will get a copy of the presentation. We'll have all of our contact information on there, and we're here to work for you. We're not working for a particular bank. We're here to work for you and to make sure that you get exactly what you deserve or need. And we will work closely with you until things happen. I have a lot of clients. We have a lot of clients between the two of us, and we do an exceptional job. To be quite frank with you, I don't do any advertisement. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? All my work, all of my clients come by way of referrals. Because we have just that much.
Yeah. Over these last 10 years, like Charlie said, the banks, they want to do exactly just so much. They send me, and they've been sending Charlie their fallouts. They don't even want to massage it to any degree. You either fit in the box or you don't.
I would say this, 60% of my business comes from bankers, actually working for banks. To give you, put things in perspective. And another 40% comes by way of existing clients and referrals. So I just want to say that to give you a mental impact in terms of where my business comes from, because they don't have the ability to get it done for whatever reason. Any other comments? Any other questions? And by the way, we seeing our clients face to face. I apologize not being in Washington, D.C. and Columbia, Maryland, due to some family situations here. But if I need to get up there any other time, I'll certainly be there.
Just want to add a note. Go ahead.
Hey, go ahead, please.
Hey, Giovanni, how are you?
How you doing?
You joined.
Just to add a note, most of the loans that the bank have, over 70% the bank turns down. So they have to find outside funding for it, because there's a metrics with a bank. If you don't, like she said, you don't fit in that box, you SOL. So
absolutely,
basically, banks turn down a lot of loans, because I've been doing mortgages since 2004. That's why it's important to go out there for private lenders and brokers, because banks have their own set rates on some of these things. When you shop around like Lucaya Capital, they're the best people to go out to fight for you, because it's either you take their rates or you don't. But most of the loans, as far as business, everything, banks turn over 70% of them down, and people don't know where to shop. So
absolutely.
Just want to put that comment
without
there.
question, without question, absolutely, they do that. If you don't have pristine credit, and by the way, if you may have had some credit challenges due to the pandemic or whatever, we have people to work with you to boost your credit scores. That's what we do, part of our services.
That was another comment I was going to make, because banks not going to give you that service. Oh, go to ABC Credit to help you straighten out your credit. They keep silent. You don't fit the metrics, you're out. So you need somebody to go to the battleground for you, to fight for you. Because when I was doing mortgages before, you could come in with a 450 credit score. I'm not going to turn you down or anything. I'll explain to you, hey, we can fight this and get your score up. Because the reason why I took that path, I don't know who John Doe might know. He might know Susie, and Susie's probably perfect credit, so I will not turn them down. Bank's job, they want to move on to the next, because it feels, hey, a lot of people are applying. So you take Bank of America, Chase, or Citi, they have people applying. They don't want to waste their time to go on to the next one and the next one. You have to take the time to vet each one out. Banks don't take the time to do that. It's either you fit that criteria, or they're not going to waste their time.
Absolutely. I've clients who've had dealings with the IRS, offering compromise issues. We got over that. Then they got funding, and it goes across the gamut in terms of what the clients I've had to deal with over the years. And but you got to work with them, and don't toss them aside, because they too will get beyond where you are today.
And just to add to that, Charlie, in this realm of financing, this space, it's a very intimate space. We have to know a lot about you, the client. We have to know. So we're on your side. So don't hide the information. Don't be embarrassed by it. It's confidential. It doesn't go past us. But we're here to help guide you. But it is a very intimate process. And you got to share it, because we only going to be looking for the solutions. We want a win-win for everyone.
I am here solely, and Ms. Burris is here solely to help build your wealth.
That's right.
Nothing short of that. I was managing director of South Trust's private bank for at least 3 years. I know how to build wealth. We know how to build wealth. And I don't want anything to come, any challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis can be overcome, period.
Dell had Dell, if I'm not butchering the name. Sorry about that.
Oh, correct. You are right. No worries. Hey, how are you?
Doing well.
So, quick one. First, do you operate in Canada? I'm building a business in Alberta, and it's about geothermal, generation of energy through geothermal. So do you guys operate to, or can you finance deals in Canada?
I have done a few deals in Canada. I have some very strong resources in Canada and a couple of private lenders that will go into that territory, case by case, deal by deal.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Awesome. Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
Minutes here. And then questions, comments, thoughts.
Yep. You like
All
to
these
see,
are great questions, by the way. Really good question.
and would anyone like to see more of these types of presentations, overviews, where we can be specific and target concerns, issues, marketplace changes and disruptions?
This was great and very informative for my team, and I appreciate it. It's been great.
Thank you so much, Antonio.
Yes, sir. Thanks, ma'am.
DeBoRaH, I'm in for free education anytime.
I know you are, young lady. I know you are.
I will participate.
You're
I
free to
promise you that.
ask. Sorry, Balaram, you're cut you off. So if you have
No,
any
you're fine.
questions regarding digital marketing or anything I can help with, feel free to ask. Or any confusion. There's a question: do you require a retainer fee, Samuel?
Yes, on most of our projects, Sam, yes. And of course, we discussed that with the client confidentially.
I just want to make a comment. I want to thank you so much, DeBoRaH, for inviting me to this call. It's very educational. I really appreciate it and would love to see more of these. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much. All right, okay, then we'll go ahead and wrap up and thank everyone for your time. We hope you've learned something. If you want further information, we are here, we are available. We want to only strengthen our communities. Let's build wealth. Let's build it together.
You guys get the questionnaire in the chat? I'm going to send it again. I'm going to send it again. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to send it again with the meeting recording. So if you need the recording, if you can leave the number, name, and the email, I can send it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that questionnaire, we just wanted to get a little bit of a focused view of who you are, what you want, because we know this is not a cookie cutter.
Like the pain points.
Yeah, just your pain points where you are. So Kendra,
we really appreciate everybody's
go ahead, Charlie. Sorry.
We really appreciate everybody's time and on this Sunday morning, and we're delighted to have you here, and looking forward to seeing everybody again. A lot of you are
a lot more people
I know.
Next time.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say to Kendra, I see that you love my pain point slogan.
No, it's my own too. Like I do the same thing.
Okay. Right,
that's my thing with digital marketing. Pain points with digital marketing. Yours is more like real estate. So
yeah, okay. Oh, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then we thank everyone.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Charlie, thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pat. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
The email addresses so I can send the recording. Bye, guys. Thank you for joining.
Bye.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.